Isn't that the opposite of what you're talking about right now? Or when he says the enemy within, wanting certain members of the media to be fired, or even Kash Patel having a hit list because they don't like their politics? I feel like it's more extreme on the right than the left right now.
And lastly, I would like you to tell me why you voted for Donald Trump. What policies does he, in terms of his policies, how do they help you?
In terms of, I mean, like I was explaining, I'm first and foremost a constitutionalist. I don't really subscribe to this kind of Bloods and Crips gang kind of thing that's going on between the parties. It seemed as though there'd be more freedom of speech, more constitutional freedoms under Trump than there was under the Democrats. In the past, when George W. Bush was in office, I actually campaigned for Barack Obama, thinking that he was going to get us out of these endless wars and this foreign adventuring nonsense. So my big horse in the race is constitutional freedoms and America first. That's what I stand for.
Well, when you say constitutional freedoms, I sort of feel like now our constitutional freedoms are being taken away. How do you feel about that?
Well, you weren't banned. You know, I had a YouTube channel. I had a, X channel. And yes, I understand they're private businesses, but they went from being okay with all kinds of speech to basically not liking certain things that we're saying about the COVID vaccine and other things that were going on. I was affected by that. You know, businesses I had were damaged. Our progress was slowed down by years because of that kind of nonsense, and I just don't like that kind of stuff.
But just what's going on right now. Look at this guy who's pro-Palestinian. I'm forgetting his name. He hasn't broken any laws, and now Rubio is saying, well, we're going to deport him even though he hasn't broken any laws because we like his politics. Isn't that the opposite of what you're talking about right now? Or when he says the enemy within, wanting certain members of the media to be fired, or even Kash Patel having a hit list because they don't like their politics? I feel like it's more extreme on the right than the left right now.
I have to research what that person's, I've heard of things about his background, like he wants to break up the United States, he wants to destroy the United States.
But that's freedom of speech. And even the White House the other day admitted that he hasn't broken any laws. So
there's a key component to our Constitution, which is committing treason against the Constitution. And theoretically, this is happening all the time, by the way. It's not just in one or two cases, which is that you do things that oppose the Constitution, such as, right to carry arms, such as freedom of speech, right? That is theoretically, in the world of law, committing treason against the Constitution. So I don't know if what that guy was saying, again, I haven't researched the story that much, but I've heard there was certain elements of committing treason upon our Constitution by saying, hey, I want to destroy the United States. And so I don't know. I'm not qualified to make a strong comment on that topic.
I understand. But when you say make America first,
Mm-hmm.
do you think making America first is doing all these tariffs that hurt the American consumer, kissing the rear of Vladimir Putin, which is exactly what he's doing, calling our allies dictators? Do you feel like that's an America First agenda when veterans, a lot of veterans like I do,
Mm-hmm.
are losing their jobs across the country for no reason? And then you have the richest man in the world that is talking about taking Medicaid away, is talking about taking Social Security away. I mean, he literally did an interview the other day where he's talking. To me, that's not making America first. That's my opinion. It's making rich billionaires first, giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. He turned the White House the other day into a car dealership for Tesla. I don't think that's making America first. I think that's making his Elon Musk tech billionaires first, and then the American taxpayers and the people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, putting them last. That's the way I see it, Vem. I know we probably disagree. That's the way I see it.
I got to tell you, man, I've been so deep in this last couple of weeks with this whole Bianco situation and the lawsuit that we just filed and the press conference we had and the 30 plus interviews I've done. I can't say that I've actually been following the daily of what's happening to be able to give you an educated opinion on that. In theory, when I hear America first, it's like, look, America's my home, right? If I have my house, I'm in my house, it's my house first. I don't want to leave the door open. I don't want my house to be, full of crap and stuff. So I look at it that way. The concept of America first, our nation first, is like my house first, and that's what I support.
Right. I would say that's private property, but let me ask you a question about that then. By the way, my dear, are you still on the line?
I am.
Okay,
I am. I actually had one more thing
ahead.
to say real quick.
Go ahead.
By the way, boycotting is not illegal, and that's something else that he's been talking about too. So I'm just wanted to mention that.
Understood. And thank you, my dear, for the phone call.